Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Let's call the September 9th Town Council meeting to order. Dave, in honor of your upcoming birthday, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll go to item C, presentations and recognition.
I just asked Nancy Parent to come up, and she's going to say a few words.
Thank you very much. We almost didn't make it. We went out to dinner first to celebrate. But I just wanted to thank everybody for the opportunity to highlight and thank the Shepherd Family Legacy Fund for their generous ongoing support of our Dial-A-Ride program. Dial-A-Ride is a crucial service for our seniors, and they provide an essential link to the community, and it's just a much-needed service to help them maintain independence and a quality of life. For residents that can no longer drive, it provides them an opportunity to still get out. The yearly contribution from the Shepherd Family Legacy Fund provides us with the needed resources to transport our members of Dial-A-Ride, and we are forever thankful. So thank you very much to the Shepherd Family Legacy Fund.
Thank you very much for all your work for our community. We have no public hearing, correct? Any new items to add? I don't see any. We'll go to public comment. F. If you're in the side of the council and would like to make a public comment, please come up to the podium. You'll have 5 minutes. Please state your name and your address.
Good evening. My name is Neil Kelsey, and I live at 42 Walnut Farms Drive in Farmington, and I'm also the Deputy Registrar of Voters. Earlier this year, our office worked with town staff on an ordinance that would shift approximately 842 electors from Precinct 2-5 at the police station to Precinct 1-3 at Westwoods. This was done in response to statewide congressional redistricting done in connection with the 2020 census. The objective was to bring this change to the electors in November of this year. If approved by the voters, this ordinance would have moved these electors to a more convenient polling location, would not have materially impacted the composition of the districts, and would have saved the town up to $10,000 annually by closing one polling location. Although the opportunity to bring this to the electors in November has closed, it is important that such suggestions be considered in the future. Aligning town precincts when the state congressional districts change is a good practice to minimize voter confusion. Incremental changes every 10 years can mitigate larger impacts over 20 or 30 years. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Good evening. Just for the record, Beth Kittner, 24 Farmstead Lane, and I'm one of the registrars of voters here in Farmington. I wanted to also take the opportunity tonight during your meeting to follow up on the precinct consolidation proposal and also to express my disappointment and, quite frankly, some frustration with the fact that it failed to move forward as it impacts our office. So for some background, for those unfamiliar, at the council's June 9th meeting, the registrar's office provided the council with a packet of information. It had detailed statistics, affiliation breakdown of voters in each precinct, turnout percentages, and other data to give the context for the registrar's rationale behind our proposal. And then shortly after that meeting, we were told that the registrars would give a full presentation at what I believe was going to be the next council meeting on July 8th, when the item would be on the agenda. But then at some point before July 8th, the registrars were informed that we would not in fact be presenting, and that then during that meeting, the council voted to not set a public hearing, although there was a reference being made to it being pursued in the necessary time frame for it to move forward, but there was just additional time needed by some stakeholders. But only after requesting an update on the status of the issue on August 5th. So almost a month later was I informed that the council would not be moving forward at all with the process for consolidating these precincts. So it's important to note that according to our town charter, a change in voting districts must be made during a municipal election cycle, which is the sense of urgency we had, so that it can be included on the ballot in November during a local election. So the registrar's office began preparing this process months in advance. We communicated with the town manager's office as well as town council members about our recommendation prior to bringing it up formally in June. This consolidated district would serve these voters more efficiently, as Neil mentioned, reducing town expenses by eliminating a polling location, and just by way of numbers, the police station served a total of 35 voters in the 14 hours they were open during the budget referendum vote this past April, and 8 voters the year before. But yet we have minimum staffing requirements from Secretary of State's office and state statute, and it takes away from our pool of poll workers that could be working at busier polling locations without this consolidation. So this is at a time when it's really difficult for us to get our poll workers to rise to being moderators or assistant registrars. So we're always short and really coming close with getting full staffing. So consolidating these 2 precincts would also consolidate the 2 smallest precincts in Farmington and making that more efficient. So I was optimistic that we'd all be able to work together, registrars, council members, the town manager's office, to move this forward and do what we feel is the right thing for the residents, for the voters, and the taxpayers by combining these 2 precincts and making more efficient use of our human resources and taxpayer dollars. So I'm hoping in the future, when we get to the point again, maybe in 2 years, when we can revisit the discussion, that things move better and a bit more transparent for the public so they're aware of what was under consideration. Thank you.
Can I have 30 seconds?
You get 5 minutes.
I can start that. Ann Newberry,
Oh,
23 Hatters Lane. I concur with what has already been said. I'm disappointed there is not an opportunity this November for our town's voters to decide whether to eliminate the smallest polling location, namely the Yates Room at the police station, which only serves 850 voters. I hope in 2027 that will occur.
Thank you. Anybody else like to step up to the podium? 5 minutes. Please state your name and your address. Going once? Twice? Anybody online, Cap?
I do not see any hands raised online.
We'll give them a couple seconds just to make sure.
Still no hands.
Nothing? Okay.
Nothing.
We will close public comment and move over to item G, please.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the July 8th, 2025 regular town council meeting minutes.
Second.
Motion second. Any changes, additions, subtractions?
I have a discussion on it. And do I have the floor?
Yeah.
Okay, so I take exception to item N, new business, under the July 8th meeting minutes, the way it's been characterized in this, in the meeting minutes. I don't know if everybody has a copy and have read it, but I'll read it just so. Mr. Vibert stated that the intent of this special town council meeting is to hold a public hearing for a new ordinance. He said at this time there was not enough time to review the information with the political parties, as there could be political ramifications to the changes that are presented. He stated I think that meant simply need more time. He said he understands the timeline and is not opposed to this new ordinance. But right now, more information is needed. Discussion was held amongst the council members, and a point of order was made regarding the making of a motion, and then the motion is on the agenda, and now it is not being supported. The chair apologized for this, and he hoped he would have had responses to those he reached out to. It was asked that this not happen in the future. So I guess where I would start with this and why I think this doesn't capture it is because I think at that meeting, and kind of where the registers had kind of talked about today, was that they approached us early on, way before July 8th, a full month before. And I know I took that month, and I know Brian and Patty took that month to basically understand what they were basically proposing, understanding that we had to do it in this calendar year, because if we didn't, it would go to 2027. It made complete sense as far as the numbers that they presented.
Okay.
Wait.
I understand, but
Can I just finish my point?
Yeah, but I just want to make sure we're talking about the minutes, though, correct?
No, I am. So I think we need to capture in the minutes Because here it sounds like both parties agreed with not being ready. We were ready.
Well, you voted with us, so that's.
No. But I only voted with you that night because you mentioned there were people missing and you weren't able to contact them.
So-
Just let me finish.
I'll let you finish.
Let me finish.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you said you were going to circle back with people that you weren't able to meet, and then you were going to see where that stood, and then you were going to return back to us and quite possibly put this on the August agenda.
Correct.
You guys didn't even have the courtesy to actually come to the other council members when you decided by August 5th or whenever Beth inquired that you killed it.
Joe.
I never got an email from you, Joe, and I never got an email from you, Keith, and I don't believe Brian did or Patty did.
Okay.
So that's just, so I knew you were going to go to the unanimous thing, but the only reason it was unanimous was the way you framed it at the end of the discussion.
Let me know when you're done. So I will just take 1 minute to go slightly off course of the minutes because I need to respond to one thing that Dave said. As far as the minutes goes, the minutes are the minutes. It was a unanimous vote. Secondly, email and phone calls work in both directions. Thirdly, the Democratic Register of Voters sent an email on that date to the town council chair who had had surgery 24 hours prior and said, please send any of your questions to me. I received 0 emails. Third, the Republican Registrar of Voters, who I respect deeply, never once contacted me about this until we were in the middle of a caucus meeting that had already begun and was, quite frankly, about to be adjourned. That's the amount of time that I had ahead of time when we had specifically said here that we wanted to bring it back to stakeholders. I still never felt like we had time to get with our stakeholders. My issue on this whole item was, I frankly was on vacation for the majority of June. We got out of school and we went on vacation. When I came back, this was before me. I felt like we needed to circle back with stakeholders. I do not feel like enough information was given to the stakeholders on our side to be able to come to a decision. I also never heard from any other council members. So to sit here and make the statement that this is some kind of lack of transparent thing when everyone could have reached out and frankly no one did. Now, on the minutes, if there's something on the minutes that you disagree with, please let me know. Because when I sat here, I made my point and I got a unanimous vote behind what we did.
And
I don't appreciate, let me finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead. I've let you talk. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. I don't appreciate what feels like during campaign season, the first point that we have to try to drive a wedge in what has been a very well-worked council in which we have all worked with each other and gone across the aisle, and particularly when this is on a vote that was unanimous. So if you think that it was some sort of back deal, we could have kept it off the agenda from the get-go. It's when you talk about transparency. There were things that I think everyone in this room could have done differently to get this on the ballot. 100%. Everyone who spoke on it, sitting at this table, we all could have done something.
Well, I think you are woefully inadequate in that explanation because the registers did their job. Okay, the registers did their job, and to point to anybody else outside of you and the Republican majority that decided, one, to put this on the agenda, then to scramble at a meeting to somehow concoct a motion to take it off the agenda with some promises
That you voted for.
Excuse me.
We're way past
Excuse
minutes.
me.
Okay.
Excuse
We're way
me.
past minutes. He has his,
what I would change
he has
on the
his-
meeting minutes.
He has
would
his
be-
cardboard quote.
What I would change on the meeting minutes and add here is that Brian and I, when you go back to the video, were in favor of going forward with this ordinance right from the get-go. And then we got kind of jambled up because you guys were pulling it away. But that's on the video. That Brian and I, and Patty is already mentioned in these minutes as being frustrated with how this played out. And I think that has to go in the meeting minutes. Dave Likowski, Brian Connolly were also with Patty Boy Williams on why this thing should have gone forward and never been in the situation that occurred that night.
Point of order on the minutes. What was the vote on that?
I know you were going to. I knew you were going to go to vote, which is fine. But the point is, Keith, you selectively forget how you framed it before we took that vote.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. It's duly noted. Any other things for the minutes of that day?
What are we voting on?
Just for the minutes of the meeting. So you're looking to make
Is there a change to the minutes?
to
The
that.
change I would add is that Brian and I, Dave Lukowski, Brian and Connolly, were in favor of this ordinance when it was initially presented on this motion. And we said that right away until the thing got scrambled up and you needed to pull it down while you already made a motion. You make the agenda, you make the motion, and then you scramble to take the thing off. It makes no sense.
So Dave, you were not capable of keeping up with what I was saying. I confused you and you voted incorrectly. Is that what it is?
No, you misled me.
Okay.
You misled me. That's why. You misled me.
I want to bring this down for a second.
That's fine.
I wasn't at that meeting, and I'm not comfortable voting on a change that isn't viewed first. So I'm just going to put it out there that I think clearly people's feelings on this are very heated, but I don't think we should be just voting on something without someone reviewing the video to ensure that
That's fine.
information is accurately captured.
If you want to continue it to the next meeting and we review the video and then we want to take this up again, I have no problem with that. I mean, I think that's a sound compromise. I'm with Sarah on that. I have no problem with that.
We have our clerk here. She can review the minutes.
Thank you.
And that's what she's here to do.
You know, I feel like I
Check
really
time.
need to share something on this subject. Maybe you don't want me to hear me, but I'm surprised because we were talking that we thought we should go forward with this thing, but you said you didn't have enough time to do it. We heard that. We respected you enough to say, let's give you some time to look at it since you said you were going to bring it up at the next council meeting. But that never happened. So to say that we all agree with it is kind of incorrect. We voted to support you in doing this because you said we would be coming back to do it. And that is the part that is a little surprising and disappointing. That's all I want to say about it.
Okay. Again, our town clerk is our note taker. She does all the minutes. She will review it and look into it and get back to us.
Should we make a motion just to amend the minutes with this thing under the advisement that Maureen's going to go back and review it?
I would suggest that you table the minutes, have Maureen review it, and see if Maureen feels comfortable making some sort of modification, because I think what Keith said was an accurate reflection on what he said, so that is accurate to the minutes, but maybe Maureen could review the minutes and see if there's something that either you all said that would make it more clear to your point of view, and if she feels that way, she could put the minutes back on at the next meeting. And then you guys, if she doesn't, and you want to make an amendment to the motion, the minutes, you could do it at that meeting. How about that?
Fair enough.
That's fair.
All right.
All right. So that motion is tabled. Go on to communications and written appeal.
I don't have
None.
I have none.
All right. Report of committees, 1928. If you guys have looked up, it's been pretty incredible looking. The dome looks pretty incredible. It's been done for the last couple of weeks. I think we have about 90% of the windows in, Cap.
The majority of the windows have.
Yeah, so they're all coming in. It's really fantastic looking. Wall framing, drywall, taping is complete throughout the building. New additional framing in the wall of electrical complete. Ductwork installation throughout the building is going on. Installation of the gym walls. Like I said, the cupola, final trim and painting. Finish installation of windows, start a drywall return at windows. So getting everything ready to go, priming and painting on the walls on the third floor. So third floor working the way down, second and first, Cap? For all the painting?
Painting starts on the third, works its way down.
Yeah, and I guess we're all still looking to be on time and on schedule, so
Yeah.
it's great. We will go to the fire station committee, please.
Sure.
Go ahead, start. You can certainly start.
Our last meeting was held on Friday, August 22nd. We went through the updated financial forecast with Joe Swetsky and asked questions about timing of the project and other areas of concern or clarifications. We also discussed priorities and to take any action on the additional items identified by the chiefs. Our next meeting is scheduled for Friday, September 26th at 9 a.m.
Yeah, and I would just add to that, I think we made tremendous progress, the ad hoc fire station committee. I think we're at a point now that we're really closing in on the charge that will be handed off to the building committee that will be, basically formulated around this. We've covered a lot of ground. I think, kudos to, the town manager and Kat as far as bringing the architect on board, getting us information that we needed as far as the financial side.
of taking a look at those original numbers and then where they are today, escalation and so forth. I think we met the chief several times. I think we've honed in on scopes so that we have a pretty good idea of dollars, scope, programmatic needs that these folks need. And I think we balanced this out in a very positive way, Amy and I.
Excellent. Thank you both. Sidewalk Committee.
Sidewalk Committee convened 8/28, and we took some public comment, but ultimately postponed the meeting to Wednesday, 9/24, so that all many members of the committee could be present for the discussion. One thing we did stress at the start of that meeting was in regards to the charge of the ad hoc committee. We have fielded a lot of public comment on the Meadow Road sidewalk project. And the sidewalk committee's charge is on future ordinances and future planning for sidewalk committee. So it makes sense that we're getting that public comment, although we just want to stress that in the end, the ultimate decision on Meadow Road is going to become a town council decision. Brian, anything?
Nothing to add.
Okay.
All right. Farmington High School Building Committee.
So just some updates on some of the things that have been accomplished. The bleachers have been installed and are complete. There's some remaining site work going on around the bleachers, but they are usable. There's general site work still being done around the project. Central office, administrators moved in, I think early summerish. They're just working on punch list items now in the central office. The committee is primarily now just processing change orders for work that's been completed. So even though most of the work has been, is really done, it's a lot of paperwork that comes afterwards. One change order that we do expect to be coming is adding some handicapped accessible parking near the public entrance of the high school. Just based on feedback we've received from the committee, the handicap parking is currently a bit of a distance away, so we're getting that changed. And then our next meeting will be on the 17th, and it will possibly be in the central office so that the committee can see what it looks like in there.
Awesome. Thank you. We will move on to J. Report of the chair. This Saturday, we have chicken stock from 12 to 8, 303 Meadow Road. Also, St. James Craft Fair, 3 Mountain Road from 9 to 4. Dave's celebrating a birthday.
Thanks.
September 18th is Dine to Donate at Naples Pizza. This is from Help for Hope Partners charity. 10% will go to all sales to the organization. It's eat in or take out. And Thursday will be the 24-year anniversary of 9/11. It's a moment to honor the lives lost and the resilience shown in the face of tragedy. We'll move on to Board of Ed. And that's what, Patty? And no one has anything from Patty from the Board of Ed by chance? She passed it along.
I think the only thing I heard is the contracts were settled.
Contracts were settled.
That's all I know from the status on that.
All right. And she give you guys anything for inland wetlands?
No.
She did not.
All right. EDC.
Okay. Our last meeting was Wednesday, May 14th. Kate Emery and the Farmington Art Circle is hosting an artist studio trail on September 20th. And more information can be found on Explore Farmington. The governor was in Farmington on August 26th for the Sager Development ribbon cutting at 80 South Road. This project is a mixed income community comprised of 2 buildings with 66 units, and all but 1 unit is rented. The Economic Development Department is partnering with Donna Smith from the Connecticut Department of Labor and the Central Chamber of Commerce to co-host a job fair at Tungus Community College on October 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And local manufacturing companies and healthcare companies will be featured there. There are also Maple Tree Nursery hosted a grand opening ribbon cutting on August 9th. The new location offers unique plantings, and a gift shop will be hosting gardening seminars in the spring. We also have a Save the Date. The Economic Development Business Breakfast will feature UConn Health President Dr. Andrew Agwanobi. I didn't pronounce that right, I don't think.
Very close.
On October 15th, and registration opens later this week. This continues to be a free event sponsored by Ion Bank. And one more thing, Hartford Business Journal's class of 40 under 40 includes 2 Farmington residents, Tommy Hyde and Peter Zarilla, and Corianne Chapello, CEO of Camp Current, a Farmington company. And our next meeting is tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you. TPZ.
The TPC, their last meeting was last night, and just to kind of give an overview, since the last time we met, there's been several things, right? So in July, there was kind of an information meeting on the new large development enclave, kind of behind Riverbend, right in the middle of, right by Brickyard Road and so forth, you know, behind Riverbend, right up to the river. They gave an information session. There was a lot of questions back and forth, but since that point in time, they've kind of reassessed going forward and kind of at least paused, you know, waiting. You know, they kind of withdrew where they were. They weren't proceeding any further. So I'm not really sure. I don't think anybody knows exactly, but you know, they withdrew in a friendly manner. So maybe they'll be back. Maybe they're tweaking something and be back for a resubmission. There's been a number of special permits, individual property owners. Obviously, that's kind of the normal course of business. And then 2 other items. One item is last night there will be a public hearing on a housing project that's going to be 65 units and is scheduled for Executive Drive. So that's one that's coming up. That public hearing will be October 6th. And then the last thing would be, I've kind of talked about the ordinance of parking, of off-street parking at residential properties and how many commercial vehicles and what size those vehicles can be. There is some language that addresses that now, but the size of trucks, the number of people who kind of work in the gig economy, they all have kind of their own truck. I would say after yesterday's meeting during the planning's report, the next meeting they're going to present the new language. And I think they've worked really hard, staff and the TPZ commissioners, to hone that language in and make it as important that it needs to be for people to really understand what they can park at their private residence and how many vehicles and what types of vehicles. So that's it.
All right. Thank you. Move over to Kitty, report of the town manager.
You have my written report, just a few things that the Winchell Smith Dam removal, that's just an FYI. I know they talked about it at the TPZ meeting last night too. So they are in the process of removing the dam, and that's a project with the Army Corps of Engineering and the Connecticut DEP. Suicide Awareness Month, it's important to keep awareness of that, and this is from Nancy Parent, so I thought that would be of interest. And lastly, we had 2 suggested workshop meetings for the 2nd September meeting and the 2nd October meeting. We thought the 2nd September meeting that potentially we would talk about the America's 250th celebration, and so I have the staff there and we can have some discussion about that. We have some ideas, but we'd like to have some input from the council and the public, and we've heard some different things. If you're not familiar, the state is asking municipalities to do some different things. Unfortunately, the state wants you to do certain things, but they don't want to fund anything for you. There's a level of interest, some interest in some communities, some less in others, but we'll talk about that at the end of the month, if that's okay with everyone. And then lastly, I think Joe Swetke asked the pension board and Dave if they would like to come to the 2nd October meeting and talk to the council about pension stuff.
Perfect.
So that was it.
I have a motion to accept the town manager's report.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions for Kathy?
The only question I had was really the Tinty Barn. Is that still on schedule to be awarded? I know it was awarded. We kind of waived our bid things, and that kind of put that in motion.
They're out there.
Okay, they're out there.
Yeah. So they're out there. We're aiming. I have not got an update with the barn person, but I know we're emptying out the dumpster. So they are doing some work, and we are definitely aiming that a lot of it is done before we get through the winter months.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. L, appointments.
just go right over here. I have L6. I make a motion that Daniel Kleinman be reappointed to the Economic Development Commission for a 2-year term beginning October 1, 2025, ending September 30th, 2027.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
Just, if you remember, Joe, this comes from the Chamber of Commerce.
That's
That's their
correct. Yep.
appointment.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
L7, make a motion that Robert Reeve be reappointed to the Economic Development Commission for a 2-year term beginning October 1, 2025, ending September 30th, 2027.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
L8, I make a motion that William Wadsworth be reappointed to the Economic Development Commission for a 2-year term beginning October 1, 2025, ending September 30th, 2027.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
A motion under L9, which would be that John Bombara be appointed to the Farmington Historic District Commission for a 5-year term beginning October 1st, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2030.
Second.
Yeah, motion and second. That's for reappointment. Any
Correct.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
L15, I make a motion that Donna Mambrino be reappointed to the Human Relations Commission for a 2-year term beginning July 1, 2025, ending June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
L16, I make a motion that Abigail Wadsworth Barretto be reappointed as Justice of the Peace for the remainder of a 4-year term beginning immediately, ending January 2nd, 2029.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
L17, I make a motion that Philip Dunn be appointed as Justice of the Peace for the remainder of a 4-year term beginning immediately and ending January 2nd, 2029.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That brings me all the way to L26. I make a motion that James Foote be reappointed to the Water Pollution Control Authority for a 5-year term beginning October 1, 2025, ending September 30th, 2030.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. M, old business. Not seeing any, so on to N1, please.
Make a motion to award bid number 356, Police Department HVAC Replacement Project to Pat Munger Construction Company, Inc. of Branford, Connecticut, a contract cost of $2,606,922.
Second.
This motion is to award a contract to a qualified contractor to replace the heating and air conditioning systems at the Farmington Police Facility. The town received 5 bids ranging from $2,600,000 to $3,400,000. Pat Munger Construction, Inc. submitted the lowest bid. Staff reviewed the paperwork and qualifications of the lowest bidder and found it to be satisfactory. Funding for this project is from 24-25 borrowing authorization in the amount of $2,750,000 approved by the town voters at the 24 budget referendum.
Any questions?
The only question I had, and I guess Joe would know, is that ad alternate, these things underneath, I understand allowances, I understand unit pricing, but the ad alternate 1 replacement, that was accepted, is that in the price? Yeah, okay. So everything listed below there is included in the bid of 2.6. Got it. And then there was a little bit of a window of $800,000 between high and low, so we've definitely qualified the low bidder to make sure there hasn't been any omission in that.
Scope review of the low bidder.
Got it.
The low bidder was actually we had several walkthroughs.
Good.
We almost had results. They kind of everyone asked most questions.
Perfect.
They also, they're GCs.
Right.
They do a lot of feedback, especially state.
And then just the last thing, the contract duration on this project is, do you know what that officially is?
Based on the schedule that the staff put together, this will probably be completed by May 1st.
Got it. Okay.
The work will actually take place.
Got it. Okay, thanks. Thanks for your update. Thanks.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And to make a motion to award contracts to Morton Saul, Inc. of Chicago, Illinois for the purchase of treated road salt at a purchase price of $89.22 per ton, and for the purchase of white road salt at a purchase price of $74.89 per ton for the upcoming 2025-2026 winter season.
Second.
Motion second, Kathy.
The purpose of this motion is to contract with a vendor to supply treated road salt and white road salt, which will be used by the Highway and Grounds Division on snow and ice-covered roads and sidewalks during the upcoming winter season. It's estimated that the town will use 2,000 tons of treated road salt and 750 tons of white salt during the 25-26 winter season. Funds are available in the Highway and Grounds operating budget for this purpose. The contract award for the acquisition of the treated road salt would be under the Capital Region Purchasing Cooperative Bid 777, and for white salt under state contract PSXO 150. And the contract awards are more than $50,000, so that's why it's before the council.
Got it.
Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And 3, make a motion to award a contract for the purchase of one 2025 Ford F-350 cab chassis, I should know that, and body service to Tasca Automotive Group of Berlin, Connecticut at a purchase price of $74,925.55.
Second.
Motion second, Kathy.
This motion is the contract with the vendor to acquire a Ford F-350 cab with a service body that will be used by the Highway and Grounds Division for their daily sign operations. The truck will also be used for snow plowing and other maintenance tasks. The vehicle will be acquired will replace a 2008 truck. Funds in the amount of $80,000 were included in the 25-26 capital budget for this acquisition. The award includes the installation of the service body and other accessories once the cab and the chassis are delivered. The bid is being submitted to the town council approval because the contract exceeds $50,000.
Any questions on the truck?
In the delivery on this truck? March? I mean, just trying to get some context. Great. Mm-hmm. Perfect.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And 4, I make a motion that the following appropriation transfers be made from and to the accounts listed below in the fiscal year 2024-2025 general fund budget.
Second.
Motion second, Kathy.
So you have our year-end transfers. I can go through it a little bit, and we have Joe here to speak to it. But one of the things I just wanted to remind the council is that in the from items, in the personnel services, the 242, if you remember, we lump sum when contracts aren't done, and then we move all that money into the different accounts. So it's not that account was, that's how it's set up that way.
Right.
If you look, I think at the conclusion, I think it's pretty good. It says, in summary, for fiscal year 24-25, general fund revenues exceeded the budget amounts by $1,558,803, and expenditures were less than budgeted amounts by $206,502, resulting in a positive result operations totaling $1,765,305. When this amount is added to the unassigned fund balance, it increases the general fund unassigned fund balance to $26,264,296, or 19.2% of fiscal year 25-26. Joe does a very detailed report about where the money goes and where it comes from. I think we were pretty tight on the expenditures this year, and a lot of it has to do with old buildings, old equipment, and we had big expenditures there that you saw that went over. We did see some pretty good savings, and obviously our revenues did really well. One of it was on the interest earnings, and that we predicted that. I think when Joe was doing the budget and talking about it in March, he had said that our interest earnings were going to be in a good area. The Moody's ratings likes 20% in our fund balance. We did not have to use our fund balance last year because of the revenue, which is great. We did take out to get to that 20%. That I think we have budgeted 800 for this year, so we minus that out, and so we're close to 20%. So I think that we're financially in a really good spot. That's where we wanted to be, and I think we'll be going into next year's budget financially sound on some of those items. So if you have any specific questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer it, or give it to Joe to answer for us.
Floor to Joe. Any questions for Joe or Kathy?
I didn't have any questions, but Joe, Kathy, thank you for keeping on this. Really like to see that our fund balance is close to 20%. That looks really good. Thank you for being on that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would just add to Joe, I mean, a good job, and I think just the 3 pages behind all the numbers where you summarize revenue, you summarize expenditures, you summarize contractual services, utilities, just very, very easy to read and follow.
Excellent. Thank you guys for all your hard work. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Agenda item N9, I make a motion to approve the below property tax refunds.
Second.
Did I say
Motion
N?
is second.
I say N5 right now.
It's N5.
N5.
Okay.
Went in order.
Yeah.
I said it the wrong way. I'm delirious.
Any questions?
As you know, this is at the end when we are collecting taxes. You see quite a bit of refunds and different things. So that's why it's a little bit higher than typical.
None with my name on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
No
We have
executive
no
session.
executive session. So before I call for adjournment, have a great night. Be safe. Enjoy the weekend. We'll call for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn the September 9th, 2025 regular town council meeting.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.